think we are ready to go, lads. Okay, welcome back to the channel, racing fans, for another episode in the series. We do have a little bit of a different concept actually for today's episode. We've done the will they, won't they? That seemed to get a really good response actually. So we've got something a little bit different again. Um, and this episode, I suppose, is going to be called Who Is, Who Isn't. It's a little concept that Liam put together. We sort of had a look with it. We started putting some questions down, and then we thought we'd just basically roll with it from there. We've got a long list of questions, and I think this is going to be quite enjoyable. It took a while to get through this list. It's basically been split into, well, we've got five sections. So, personal favorites, ratings, trainers, Cheltenham, this season, and the greats. So we're gonna touch on a variety of topics here. There's six there, obviously not five as I just mentioned, but loads of good talking points. And you'll probably learn a little bit more about us along the way as well, because we're going to be talking about some of the personal favourites first. But first of all, how are you doing, gents?
Good, yeah.
Yeah, all good, cheers, Joe.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. We're recording this on a Sunday morning, so I do apologise if we seem like we haven't got much energy right now, but I'm sure as we get into it, we will perk ourselves up a little bit. Again, thanks everyone that's tuning in. We have all sorts of content coming real soon. Obviously, we've got all of our stable tours out there and a few other bits. We've still got loads of those to record. So if you can click like and subscribe to the channel, it's completely free to do so. It just supports us and the boys, gets our content out there to a wider audience. And hopefully you're enjoying the journey. We've got the Ante-Post stuff coming soon and the season previews. But who is who isn't? And we're going to start with some of the personal favorites. So the first question here is, who is the one horse that got you into horse racing? Just to make a quick note, actually, before we go further, some of these questions, it's quite easy, we noticed, to fit the narrative by putting horses in there that are generally spoke about in a certain way. That will make sense as we go through. But I've really asked the guys to, make it really personal. If we've said you can have one horse, we're not even going to mention another, etc., etc. We're pinning our tails to the cutters. And the first question, as mentioned, who is the horse that made you fall in love with racing? Jamie, we're going to start with you first because I've been watching racing since about the year 2000. You've actually been watching it longer than me. So I don't know which horse you're going to say made you fall in love with the game, but
Arkle, probably.
Yeah, not that
Desert
old. Not that
Orchid.
old. Not that old. The one horse that got me into racing was Desert Orchid. Yeah, is the top one. Yeah,
That was a guess, by the way. I didn't actually mean that. I was actually sort of joking, but it just shows how old you are, really, doesn't it?
yeah. That's how old I am. Yeah. No, I'm watching racing since the early '90s. Yeah, the early '90s. My godmother used to bring me racing to the local track here in Tralee. And then she used to live in London. She lived in London for about 10 years. I think it was 10 years, 5 to 10 years, whatever. And she brought me home. The time she came home at Christmas one time, a BBC documentary about him. It was called Desert Orchid: The Glory Years. I watched that 100 times. It was about the owners, how they owned him. Richard Burrow, I think, was the name of the owner. And then I suppose the dream came true. And when I went to the Cheltenham Festival, he was paraded by Janice Coyle in the pre-parade ring down below at Cheltenham, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And it was like that was my dream come true, to see the horse, and what a horse he was. And he was a great horse, regardless. He ran in champion hurdles, running champion chases. He won a Gold Cup. He won an Irish National. He won two Whitbreads. Was it one or two Whitbreads, whatever? He was a great horse because he
What
was
on
a
earth is the Whitbread, Jamie?
Oh my god! Oh
That
my
says
god!
it all. There we go. See, we're gonna have good fun with this. We're gonna have a good topic.
Uh, one over a variety of trips, and that's always good. And carried lumps of weight. He won four King Georges. He won Racing Post Chase, handicap chase, the 3 miler, the big handicap there on February, off top, lumps of weight. You don't see horses do that anymore. And plus, trainers are giving out about they'll carry too much weight. He had an iron horse. He was. He could do anything. And he got better with age, which was great. And he's an icon. And he's the Bar Arca, who was before our time, and we'll get on to him as well. I don't care what anyone says, Des Rock is the biggest icon in national hunt racing ever, and there's no one in our era that would be bigger than him. I don't care people say Cauto Star, Sprinter Sacrament. There's no one ever going to be a bigger icon Desert. And I suppose the only thing I will say, the final thing I'd say about it, of course he's going to be like, and he was different looking. He was pure white.
Gorgeous horse, isn't he?
He was gorgeous. But he is the big. I don't care what anyone says. Till the day I die, I put it that way, and I leave it at that. He is still the biggest icon in national hunt racing.
Yeah, well, look, this is all about personal favourites, James. I think really, really fair case about him there. He's definitely one of the greats, isn't he? Liam, what year did you start getting into racing then?
I went to the Cheltenham Festival in 2012. I think it was the year that Long Run won the Gold Cup and Denman and Corto turned the corner together.
Well, it's a good year to start. That was a good year to start as well. Then it was a proper like a three-way duel as such. Like
yeah, no, it was brilliant and the atmosphere was great. It's a shame that was probably as good as it was ever going to get, really. But on the Wednesday of that week, and bizarrely, I don't come from a horse racing background at all. But we ended up, well, basically, me and loads of my mates ended up backing Champagne Fever purely based on the name. One of the lads used to buy bottles of champagne in a bar called Fever, and they cost about 10 quid. So they were showing off.
I know Fever. Obviously, being from Cheltenham, I know Fever, of course. Jesus.
Yeah, there's a good few of them dotted around Worcestershire and Gloucestershire now. But yeah, so that was basically the reason. I think we backed him at 8-1. Ante-Post favourite. I think he drifted to about 22s by the off, and he ended up winning the bumper. And it was, I suppose, it's just one of those feelings when you're all in on the same horse, and you all win together. So that was a right buzz. So we all went on Gold Cup Day with a few quid in our pocket. So yeah, from one grade to another, mate. Champagne Fever would be the horse that kind of captured my heart.
I love that. So you've got Desert Orchid, Champagne Fever, and sticking with the theme that we've somehow landed on 3 greys. For me, I mean, I got into racing in the year 2001. I was 10 at the time. I was that kid at school who would sneak off at lunchtime to go home. And I remember my mum coming back just as the Supreme was going to start. And I was sat on the sofa, I had loads of snacks. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? Jumped down the side of the sofa. Telly was still on. She's like, get out from the side of the sofa. What are you playing at? Like, So I loved it even from that sort of age. But Rooster Booster was the horse for me. Philip Hobbs and Terry Warner. Again, another grey. Just a seriously gorgeous horse. He won the county hurdle, which was a grade 3 at the time. He then went and won the Greatwood off 11 stone 12. Went on to win the Beulah hurdle, and then went on and became the champion hurdler in the same season. Unfortunately, he died at the age of 11. He was just a brilliant racehorse. It wasn't even the best jumper actually most of the time. But I loved watching him. The name was catching. That sort of set the premise for me for horse racing. He was brilliant. Philip Hobbs was a superb trainer at the time as well. I'm not trying to discredit him now, but he was a really top trainer in the years of like Martin Pipe and things like that. Jamie, you'll remember them well. Even when Alan King, he was a top trainer at one point. People that maybe are more recent into racing wouldn't quite understand how good these trainers were at one point. But yeah, so Rooster Booster for me. Desert Orchid, Champagne Fever, and Rooster Booster are our favourites of all time.
Saw Rooster Booster win the champion hurdle.
Yeah, brilliant. It just amazing. He was like the people's horse, wasn't he, at the time? He really was
brilliant. Yeah,
amazing.
Rhinestone Cowboy went off and on to price that as a novice, and
Interski Falcon and
went off, and Jesus, lads, I'd never seen a more impressive winner of a champion hurdle than Rooster Booster. He absolutely cruised it. It was over. It was over coming down the hill. It was brilliant.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. He was so fast. He'd hit half the hurdles and he'd still just sit on the bridle like until. Well, we talk about sitting on the bridle. We could start talking about Archibald, couldn't we? And those sort of jewels there.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
But we won't go there. We won't go there. Okay, question number 2, still in personal favourites. Who is your favourite horse in training right now? Liam Firkin. We'll go reverse order. I always get these orders mixed up, so I'm sorry.
No problem, mate. I suppose I could be really sentimental. They're usually ones that have affected your pocket or you've had a decent win off. So obviously last year, and it would be recency bias, the likes of Django Bay and Jazzy Matty. And it's a little bit unoriginal, so apologies, but I just love Galloping the Champs. I just think he's absolute mustard. I took to him quite early. I backed him after his beginner's chase for the Gold Cup the following year. This is when you used to be able to get Ante-Post markets for not just the forthcoming festival, but the one after. And I had a good whack on him at Cheltenham in the Turners, but obviously he ended up unseating Paul Dini at the last, and Bob Ollinger won. But yeah, it'd have to be Galloping the Champs. I think he's absolutely mustard. So yeah, that would be
carry on as well for 1 sec, lads.
No problem. So yeah, that'd be my favourite horse in training. What about you, Jay?
this is the one I kind of struggle with, really. I suppose at the moment, the one I'm most looking forward to, and he's going to be mentioned a lot, is definitely the one who affected my two, I suppose. Kopech, the board would be one, but he's not catching me as the favourite, and I like the McCarthy's, and I hope they have a great season with him. But I just like the new line. It's just unoriginal, like you say, Liam. I just really think he's just going to be the one. He's the new up and coming one. And,
does that grab you a bit more, Jamie? The potential rather than a horse that's kind of been around for longer.
potential.
Yeah.
I love potential. Look, there's great. I always used to do, Liam. I always used to take on horses that were there for a while. I used to take on Caught Star a lot. I used to take on Big Bucks a lot. Like, I don't know what it is. It's great to see greats, and there's no doubt about that. I will say that. But I like getting greats beaten. It's like last year. I was sitting in. Joe would have met some of my. Oh, you've met some of my lads, and I was sitting there. I said, just like, I know you're thinking. Is this just obvious? Like, do you know what I mean? To get galloping beaten. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? I've lost a lot of money trying to get Big Bucks beaten down the years. And the only time I actually backed him was his first one. I said to the lads that day he'd beat that Punchestown's belonged to Nick Henderson. Casbah Bliss was in that race, I remember that. But I guess because all did another horse.
Was that his first stayers?
That was his first day. He was 13-2 that day. I couldn't believe his price.
Really?
Yeah, he'll never be that price ever again.
I was going to say, I bet he was odds on for his next 17 grade ones or whatever he won.
But no, it's the new line for me. I just like the way he won that Turner's, Gallagher's, Ballymore, Neptune, whatever bloody it's called now. Yeah, I like potential, and I think he's definitely going to be. Hopefully, we'll see him in the
fighting fifth. Hopefully,
fighting fifth against Constitution Hill and Amsterdam, and I hope they all turn up.
Do we want to listen to Joe talk about Marine Nationale, or shall I move on to the next question? I have got them in front of me, Jay.
Oh, he's getting it with one of them.
I'll tell you what, we'll come back to Joe in that case, and I'll come back to you, Jamie. So the next question was, who is your favourite horse ever? Obviously, you've already touched on one of them, but you can give your top three. So in addition to Desert Orchid, who would be in position 2 and 3?
Split this up, Liam, because it's no point of talking about two horses that are down the bottom of the list, at a list that we're going to say for later.
Okay.
They are probably my favourite two down below another list that we're doing to say the greats. I have 5, so I'll give you the 3 below the top 2 that I'll have, and we'll get on to the greats later on. One would definitely be Hurricane Fly, 22, 23, 4 grade. He's the record of grade 1s. Backstory to Hurricane Fly. A friend of mine who's retired now from the post office, I met him in the bookies one day, and he said, this Creighton family have after buying a horse. He's an ex-flat horse out of Monjo. And I said, what? He said, he's running there in a minute at Punchestown. It's a 30 runner maiden hurdle. I said, what? He's 6-4 and a 30 runner maiden hurdle. You go away, boy. I said, wait, don't be annoying me. He said, I'm telling you. And then all of a sudden I goes, oh, Ruby was on. It was a back-end maiden in April or May. And he absolutely hosed up. And I goes, oh, this is a good thing. And Mullins wasn't the biggest trainer, wasn't the top trainer in Ireland at the time. Still no maid. And I thought, this is Munnins' calling card here now. Here he comes. This is the one. I was lucky to see him a couple of times at Punchestown and Leopardstown. Today he beat O'Connor at Leopardstown, was brilliant. He beat a horse called first number again I saw him was he beat the Supreme winner the previous year, Go Native, who won a Supreme. I saw him that day. Go Native was coming up beside him, and Go Native fell at the last in the Morgan at Punchestown, and it'd be nice to see if he could take him on, but I see Hurricane Fly beat Jeski when Hurricane Fly lost the champion hurdle to Jeski. He beat him at Punchestown. I saw him that day. Always had 2 handlers, but he was just quirky. Would I say, even though people crib him for winning 2 champion hurdles and say, was he an ultimate Cheltenham horse? Well, he broke Peddler's Cross Heart in the champion hurdle. He was never right after that.
Out of interest, Jay, sorry to interrupt you, but you love both coats. Would any flat horses be in your top 3 favourite horses?
There'll be 6 and 7, yeah. See the stars in Franco.
So they won't be in your top 3.
No.
Joe, we assumed you were just going to talk about Marine Nationale for 35 minutes. So
yeah. No, that's fine. It's fine.
No, go on, mate.
No, that's it. Yeah, of course, Marine's my favorite. I'm not going to go over old ground. Even I'm getting bored of saying the same thing. You just gave me a load in racing, but I'll give you my favorite three of all time, which is obviously what you two were just discussing there. Um, for me, it's English Dreamer is always going to be my number one. Three-time stairs hurdle winner, won it with three different jockeys. Then I like Moscow Flyer. It was just incredible watching him sort of take to fences over 2 miles. And then Best Mate. So these were the glory years for me, like I said. So English Dreamer, Moscow Flyer, and Best Mate are my top three favorite horses of all time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not too dissimilar to Jamie. I've probably mentioned two of them already. Galloping would be up there, Champagne Fever, and I suppose I will save the other one because, as Jamie's mentioned, we'll probably come round to him shortly.
I'll mention two more, and the two more in the three before. Joe has mentioned two already, but I'll keep them for down the list.
Yeah,
As I said, Any Power is definitely up there. I think a horse that I think personally was messed around because they had so much higher power at the time. They do Van Vaheen, fucking Vautour, the whole. Do you know what I mean? And Any
yeah.
Power to me was.
There's about 200 people who've just launched something at this screen, Jamie, when you said that. Everyone on that four-timer.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know, yeah,
Jesus.
but that's the fall. But she came back to win a champion hurdle. I mean,
Very
like
true.
she should have won 3 champion hurdles. I'm like, there's no doubt about that. She has the fastest time in the champion hurdle. I know, look, she has 7 pounds allowance. I understand that,
She'd have
but
beaten without that, James. She was so good.
she would beat them
So
all.
good.
And I think, look, she nearly won a stairs hurdle. They tried, they messed around with her. And if she's in a different stable, maybe she'd have been a different horse if she was a different stable. But if you put her in Nicky Henderson's at the time or something like that, or Paul Nichols, she'd have been in the champion hurdles and she'd have won plenty of them. Getting
I
that
think
7 pounds of no horse. I don't care whatever about they won Faheen, the Machine, Vautour, Constitution Hill. Even I wouldn't say they wouldn't beat her. They have no horse to give her
mm,
7 pounds in the champion
yeah,
hurdle.
she's mustard. I think they learned a lot from Annie Powell, with regards to like fast forward into the current day with like, your Lossy Mouths and your Cargeezies and stuff.
Mm.
I feel like they learned a lot.
Oh, a lot of people now will comment on that. Oh, what is he on about? No, I don't care. Look, that's just my opinion. Everyone's
Hey,
entitled to their
fine.
opinion
Yeah.
and criticizing and all that. I better not say that people things are good things anymore, or because I'd be talking tripe apparently. But anyway, the other side of that is that that's just opinions, and people have opinions. And in 7 pounds, that horse, look, ears are ears, but I'd struggle to see any horse give any power seven
Hey,
pounds over 2 miles.
hey, look, I'm actually with you, James, as well. And just because not every time she won by 10 lengths, it doesn't mean that's the full ability of a horse, sort of thing. I just feel like she kept digging and digging and digging, and she was so fast with it, wasn't she, as well? It wasn't like we'd ever really maybe seen the best of her because you could have put a better horse in front of her and she'd have probably found a little bit more again. She was just stupendous, wasn't she? She really was. Are we up to date now, lads? Sorry, I had a bit of a
Good.
cool. You're on mute there, man.
We are, mate. Yes, moving into ratings.
Cool. So ratings, you've got two questions for this one. The first is who is the most underrated horse in training right now? Now, what are we doing, lads? Are we looking at their official number and saying, I think this horse has got £10 in hand? Or are you going on your personal view of what the general consensus is about a horse, if that makes sense? So when you let me know,
General
just
consensus, I'd say.
yeah,
Usually.
fair enough. That's fine. Well, go on then, James. Who did you get for the most underrated?
Most underrated horse in training, reflected in his price, wasn't great in his Supreme, didn't get a good ride in my opinion. Now, I'm not a huge criticizer of Patrick Mullins, but if he had that back again, I will say I think the most underrated horses in training was Salvatore Mundi. And I really do think he's underrated, and I would not see could see an awful reverse of the form of Kopek de Borda and Romeo Cooley if they ever met in a chase. But the problem is that will they ever meet in a chase? And that's the other side of it. Maybe, maybe not, but I think he's very underrated. I think they're only getting to the bottom of him. I remember now this horse was barely beaten in France by the great, the supposed potential of the great of Sergino. So I think they know they're trying to finally get the horse that they bought, and they might finally get the horse that they think the potential is there. So I think he's very underrated for the season, and I think he's a cracking price for an Arkell. I think he's not a stair; he's the 2 miler at the moment. But yeah, I think he's very underrated. I think he's a horse definitely to follow this year, Salvatore Mundi.
Yeah, okay. He was on my radar as well, Jamie. He was on my radar, and I narrowed it down to three initially. But like I said, we're not going to be talking about any others. We've got to pick the one. And for me, it turned out to be Jimmy DeSoy. I think there's a lot more to come from this horse. I've mentioned I wanted him to go down the stayers route. It looks like he's going novice chasing, which is fine. Obviously, Willie also has Ballyburn, Jasmine DeVoe, and a few others that could obviously go down the stairs, so it's fair enough. But I think he's a really talented horse to come out and do what he did in that the Coral Cup. I just thought it was massively impressive after a year off. Okay, he might have been thrown in. He just showed that he's got a lot of ability, and the fact that he won it the way he did just screams to me like a really smart horse. If he takes the fences, I expect him to rank a lot higher than what he was considered to when he got beat by Ballyburn, for example, in the Turners. He very much looked like a grade two, grade three horse. I think it's a real grade one horse in the making. So he is the most underrated horse for me. Liam.
40 to 1 floating about for the Browns for him, Joe.
Oh, well, there we go then. There we go. See?
Yeah, I completely agree. He's one on my radar.
Is he? Excellent.
I'm going to go with another Willie Mullins horse. It'd be easy for me to say Django Bay. Everybody knows that, obviously, I'm a big fan of the horse. I am just going to say that his record is first, second, first, third, and the third was with a broken leg in a grade one. So he is underrated. But I'm going to go with Kiss Will. I really like Kiss Will. He absolutely bolted up on debut, and then second time over hurdles, was then sent to the Cheltenham Festival, finished 7th of 11. And absolutely bolted up at Perth. I think he could be as progressive as the likes of Lecky Watson was last season, and he could end up being a big player in something like the Brown Advisory. I'm not sure if he's going to go over fences, to be honest. I don't know if anything's come out with regards to which route they're going to take with him, but I think Kiss will. Not enough people kind of appreciated what he did at the back end of last season. He won that handicap at Perth really well, and I think that he's a really smart horse going forward. So I've cheated. There's two: Django Bay and Kisswell.
Were there any others on your radar then, James, on that note?
No, I kind of, as you said, zoned in on one, and yeah, him definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I won't share my other either. Then now we're going to go on to. This might be a little bit harsh. We're looking at potentially the most overrated horse in training. I mean, I again, this is one I somehow managed to narrow it down to three, but I have nailed it down to one colours. Come on, put me out my misery then. You've been bursting to share this with me as if it's going to really offend me. So I'm panicking now.
Or the most overrated horse in training is Marie National.
How can you say that? He's won a champion chase, Punchestown.
Well. He's so ground dependent, so he's overrated.
Fair.
He can't win in every ground.
Oh, come on.
I thought Barry trained him well last year. I will say that. Nicely, softly, slicey. But he's so ground dependent. It's uncanny, like. But he does like Cheltenham. So that means to me he's overrated, because I know he did well on Punchestown this year. I did, and they were going to this thing. He can't go right-handed and all that because he's.
Hey, he won the Royal Bond right-handed.
But you listen to me. I'm telling you, that's what I was going
to
say.
I just want to burst with anger.
He beat our Irish Point in a Royal Bond, but compared to what he's rated, and to me he's non-versatility. That's just me. He's non-versatility. Like. You could never say Marine National, right? No, the courses are specified to certain horses. I'd never seen Marine National win at Leopardstown or something like that, or certain places in the world. Naas, for example, there with last this year, but he's not versatile enough for me, so I think he's overrated.
Jesus Christ, man! Supreme winner, Royal Bond winner, Punchestown champion chase winner.
Well, we were talking about another horse, and we could mention him, and we can't say, because he's rated in the 169s, 170s. Everyone thinks Stan Bond's overrated.
Yeah,
I think Marine National is overrated because of non-versatility. That's just me. I think he's a very good horse, and I'd love to own him. But he's ground dependent, and that means to me he's overrated.
Liam, I'm not having that. Liam, what do you think?
Funnily enough, mine's Marine National as well. No, it's not. And
sorry, Barry, if you're listening, but I think it's a really good horse.
How dare you, boys? How dare you do this to me?
There is a small bit of a wind up with Ginger Joe too, like, but yeah.
I've ended up, and it's not really the horse's fault given the price that he is, but I ended up landing on Kopek de Boards.
Oh God, I thought you were actually
no.
Yeah, I definitely see your angle on that. Sorry, Dennis, Mr. McCarthy. Sorry.
Yeah, Kopek de Boers, just given the fact he beat Good and Clever by the similar distance that Regent Stroll did last season. Before then, obviously, running a really good race. I think potentially in a bit of a weak Supreme. Obviously, he won really well and then blew out at Punchestown. I think it's basically everybody's opinion around him that he's an absolute certainty. It reminds me of Ballyburn at the start of last season, that Ballyburn was an absolute good thing for the Browns. And it's not the horse's fault at all. It's all the chatter around him and the price that he currently is to go and win an Arkle without even seeing him jump a fence. No doubt he's got some engine, he's some talent, but yeah, he had to land on one, and I landed on Kopek de Boards. I know that Jamie's about to explode.
No, I'm not about to explode. I 100% nearly agree with you.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Do you think he's ground dependent? Because I didn't think he was that impressive in the Supreme. I thought he'd win further at the present time when I was watching it, but I think the ground...
Given the opposition, Jay, you mean?
No, not the opposition. No. I think William Money ran well in that Supreme because the ground was for him. And he was found out then at Punchestown because the ground was quick and around C1, right? And I think he's ground dependent too. I think they were the DRF. It was soft ground that day. It wasn't bog, but it was soft. I think he's ground dependent. I think he's soft ground. He's huge. Do you know what I mean?
He is quite like is gangly the word, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, look, I don't think you're going to have the ground as quick as it was at Cheltenham this year, last season, whatever. And that will suit him. I think he needs soft ground to be seen at his best. To be seen at his very best, he needs soft ground.
Could you see him going up in tripping time sort of thing? Like, he's
he's too keen. He's too keen, yeah.
You think, yeah? Okay, interesting.
I think it'll show us the amount of horses that we're actually talking about now. And I'll just make a point, is that the JLT, whatever it was called, needs to come back.
Yeah,
too many horses, and I understand that we're on about 2.5 miles championship race and all that, but it needs to come back in the novices. Why is there 3 of them in novice hurdles and they've got rid of one in novice races? It has to come back.
Yeah, I agree. We've sort of briefly touched on this before, haven't we? We said we should at least have all those 3, and if anything, no, we're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into that. The most overrated horse for me in training is a JP horse, Spillans Tower. He's off a mark of 163. He actually won. His last win was off a mark of 150. And since then, he's been beat at Punchestown. He's been beat at Kempton. He then went back and got beat at Punchestown. He hasn't won off a mark higher than 150. He's got a rating of 163. And I struggle to figure out what his best trip is, what his best conditions are. To me, he just looks like a middle distance horse that they're trying to turn into a stayer. So for me, I don't quite understand why he has got that rating. Okay, he pushed factor far, didn't he, in the John Durkin last year to half a length. Well, less than that. Actually, wasn't. I think it was like a neck or something even. But I don't think he's a 163 rated horse anyway. Don't doubt he's got a little bit of talent, but I haven't seen anything that makes me think he's a top grade 1 animal anyway. Okay, we are going to go on to trainers. Now, there is a little, we could probably be being a little bit harsh with some of these, but we're going to give our opinions regardless. That is the premise of this this episode. And the first question is going to be, who is the most underrated trainer right now in UK or Ireland? So we will come to you first, then, Liam.
I am going to go with Venetia Williams.
Oh, wow.
Based on the fact that last season she was an absolutely unbelievable target trainer. She won so many large pots. If you actually look over the course of the last 5 seasons, she had the fewest number of winners, and I have been looking for it, but I couldn't find it. But I bet she exceeded prize money. She won some really big pots. If you go back to the year where Ireland properly dominated at the Cheltenham Festival, there were only 2 British trainers that trained multiple winners at the festival. One was Nicky Henderson, he had Constitution Hill, and another that won. And the only other trainer was Venetia Williams. That wasn't exactly a bottomless festival by any means. She had the 11-year-old Chambard who won a handicap. Not sure if you remember, a big price.
Lucy Turner rode him. I remember. Yeah.
It was bottomless a couple of days before that because they watered, then it hammered it down. Long Press went and won the Brown Advisory. For me, I think she's probably the most underrated trainer. I think especially how she's gone about things, and as I say, targeting these big pots. She's obviously changed tact, and that certainly worked last season. So I went for Venetia.
Okay, I'll go next then, Jay. Mine's actually sticking in England, and for me, it's James Owen. We've just seen obviously a lovely juvenile that he's had win there with Amez, but he seems to be finding really good horses from the flat. He seems to know what he's looking for, and he doesn't really necessarily like have many of these horses that are just flopping. I mean, Lavender Hill Mob is probably one that hasn't fulfilled the potential for the switch of codes, but he can rejuvenate horses. He's got a horse that we call Shantu Lucky. Showed absolutely nothing, and since then he's gone up nearly like 30 pounds. He's won his next three on the trot. He's training these juveniles to win. I just feel like he is a trainer that knows what he's doing. I don't think you can train juveniles that well and rejuvenate horses in the manner that he is, and have them not only win a race first time out, sort of, have it find it sort of somewhat a plot in his own yard, but they're backing it up and then they're backing it up again. It's like he's finding improvement out of horses that have shown next to nothing in their career. And I love that because he obviously sees something at home and he's doing something different that the previous trainer couldn't seem to nail down and get out of the horse. But to improve horses like that and to find these juveniles, look, I think he's really impressive. And he showed what he can do, obviously, with East India Dock. Ran a huge race at Cheltenham. Probably going to go to the Stairs Hurdle now as well. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a few horses with James Owen myself. Jamie.
I kind of went with kind of briefly two trainers in England in my head, and I had two trainers in Ireland in my head. Two trainers in England were Tom Lacey and Jamie Snowden. For me, and they're definitely hugely underrated, in my opinion. There's Owen James McCarthy, who had plenty of winners at the Stole. He trains out the road there for me. He's definitely underrated. But the most underrated, I think, at the moment in Ireland is Declan Queally. He's a lot of horses to go to work with, and he's slowly becoming actually very good horse trainer. And he has a couple of horses to go to war with. Horses, I can't remember the first horse. Remember the one at the Stole Joe there last, and then he's Carrick Moore's Bruce's one, but the other one who was 12 lengths behind the horse who's definitely under the radar now for Willie Mullins, who was like a speedball in Sortudo.
Yeah.
I can't think of this is his or something. I can't think of it anyway. But I think he's really underrated trainer. I think he's gone past the likes of John McConnell and all these. Now John McConnell is a very good trainer. He's brought horses over to Cheltenham plenty of times, but he's in that kind of bracket, and he's coming along more than him, and he's at that down below the Mullins, Cromwell, Elias, Henry de Bramhead. He's kind of in there at the top 10 now. And he should be up further, I think, and give him a bit more firepower.
Yeah.
He definitely is a trainer to watch, and he's very underrated. And it shows that the caliber of a horse now he's getting all of a sudden. So
yeah, exactly. That's it. He's got that Rocky's Diamond, who was going to be one of my underrated
couldn't think
horses.
that the one that came out of my head. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, when we spoke about underrated horses, that was the side one. And my number one to follow here. Remember, he's got that horse Bacchanalian as well, sort of thing.
He's such an underrated trainer.
Great shot that is. That's a great shot. I love that. This one's a little bit harsher then. So, who isn't a trainer that you would have a horse with? Now,
you should get Liam Firkin to that for.
Say again.
Mentions one of my trainers. I will come over.
Well, let me go first then, okay? I just want to get mine out of the way. And for me, it's Fergal O'Brien. I'm sorry. He is not getting.
Fergal O'Brien.
Yeah, I wouldn't have one with Fergal. No, I wouldn't. I don't think he gets the best out of Crambo. I don't think he's got the best out of Dysart Enos. You do not find horses with Fergal O'Brien go on a string of wins with one. I'm sorry, you just don't. He tells us they're ready, and then they're dropping out the back of the telly halfway through. He's getting decent animals and getting very little out of them. I don't. He inherited the Megsons from Ben Paulin. Loads of good horses. He's getting nothing out of them. Really disappointed because he's a local trainer in Cheltenham as well, Fergal O'Brien. I'm sorry to Fergal fans, but I would not want a horse in training with him whatsoever. Sorry, I feel dreadful.
Liam Firkin does not support the views of Ginger Jerk.
Put something on the screen. Go on then, Liam. Let's go with you next. Go on.
I was going to be far more diplomatic, Joe. No, fair play to you. No. Mine, and you might scoff at this, because I would be such a tiny fish in the pond. I would not have a horse with Willie
That's
Mullins.
fine. No, that is fine. That makes total sense.
I think because of all the big hitters that are going to be in that yard, I think therefore, and I'm sure the operation runs. I'm sure the communication, everything with all owners is brilliant. Obviously, I wouldn't know, but I just would feel that you are a very small fish in that huge pond. There'll be some big hitters. You've obviously got multiple horses. And also, I think the competitive nature, like what would my horse be working with? It's not like I can afford a I don't know, a John Bond's brother or whatnot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he'll probably break down, bless him. So yeah, from my perspective, it would be Willie Mullins, but also geographically, it would make no sense either. So that's
Okay.
another reason as to why.
I love that. You've been nice to all the English trainers by just not mentioning them there. Go on then, Jamie. Who is the trainer that you wouldn't want a horse in training with?
Um, because he's gone so downhill. Now I know he's lost a lot of owners, but you go from nearly winning a trainers championship to actually be nowhere to be seen, and it's Donald McCain. He couldn't train a donkey derby.
Vatch is
Uh,
gonna hate that. Vatch is gonna hate that.
he where has he gone? Like you can't go from that high to that low all of a sudden. You just can't. And there must be something there. And I saw it all online. Look, he had good horses all of a sudden with the Leslies, and they came up and they were there. But all of a sudden, you go from that high to that low. That means you can't train horses. You can't train horses like his father did, unfortunately. Look, his father had another icon, Red Rum. We understand that, and he's trying. It must be difficult for him being
Mm.
the son of Ginger McCain. I will say that, and it's very hard to live up to expectations that way, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, to be honest with you. But no, I wouldn't have him anywhere near a horse to me, and that's just me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah,
He's a nice guy, and he speaks very well, Brandon McCann. I always say that, and he trained great horses, in my opinion. But you can't go from that height to that low. So no, I would never leave him near a horse of mine. That's just me.
no, yeah, that makes total sense. Good cases made there, gents. To be honest with you, it all makes full sense. Number three in trainers, who isn't going to have a Cheltenham winner at next year's festival? I did say we may leave this one, but I've asked it now anyway. I've got a trainer in mind. You want to try and find some sort of high caliber trainer who maybe won't. Now, a trainer I really, really like, and I generally respect him a lot, is Joseph O'Brien, but I don't see where the ammunition comes from to have a Cheltenham winner as such. I know he's got home by the Lee Banbridge. He's got a nice new recruit called Zekrat as well. But what races are they going to win at Cheltenham that perhaps Willie Mullins hasn't got pretty covered already? So for me, Joseph O'Brien, he could have a few places, but I'd be surprised to see him have a winner this coming season.
I think that's a fair shout, to be honest, Joe. I did struggle with this one, even though the
Yeah.
fact that I threw it down on the list, because you start thinking, and what answer can you really give that's kind of somebody who wouldn't be expected to have a winner anyhow, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure Joseph will have something off JP though for the Boodles.
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, yeah. Put your hands together, didn't he? Yeah, 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 of course. Jamie?
Um,
Oh, it's my answer every year, Paul Nichols.
You don't think he'll have what could he go toward? Let's have a quick look. Caliph de Burley, champion chase.
Won't win the championship.
Caldwell Potter,
Won't win a gold
Gold
cup.
Gold Cup Ryanair.
he'll go Aintree, I reckon, anyway.
Reeds
No,
and Stroll, all those horses moving at entry.
no drama this end. Bump horse.
He'll be there, but I don't think he'll win. He'll be placed.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, that's fair enough. That's
I
fair enough.
think Paul. It's. I'm sounding like Johnny Ginny now. It's every year Paul Nichols with grade ones at Cheltenham and that. No, but I just can't see where it's coming from. They'll be there and thereabouts. But see, the problem is, I understand he did very well, and it was the best. Probably one of the best training forms of all time. Paul Nichols this year when being Caldwell Potter to win that novice handicap and keeping his mark under 145, then surely he's way better than that. But maybe he has to go down that line the way Skelton's doing things now. So maybe that could be a way in for him to get a winner, but that's not really Paul Nichols' forte to do it all the time.
Not when you've got that sort of long-standing reputation, is it as well?
Correct. Yeah.
You know,
Correct.
the next question is going to be who's going to finish third in the Trainers Championship, and for me, it is actually still Paul Nichols.
Paul Nichols.
He's got a lot of ammunition. He's going to win that. He's going to win at Ascot with Pick the Ree. He's going to win. He's going to win a few races that we're used to seeing him. And look, he may have lost loads of owners. I don't want to disrespect Paul Nichols. He's a very, very good trainer. He really, really is. You don't have the career that he's had without knowing how to train horses. Things might be a little bit difficult at the moment for him, but there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be finishing at least third in the trainers title. Any difference of opinion there, lads? Because I'd be surprised if so, actually.
I suppose it depends what ammunition's come in terms of the novice and bumper horses into Nicky Henderson's yard. But no, I agree.
Who is the trainer to watch this season outside of the top yards?
So for me, it'd be Ollie Murphy. Obviously, he won at Chepstow the other day. We stick to the plan. Rather not to talk about that, to be honest. Obviously, I jumped off him and onto Gainsbourg. Silly boy. But yeah, I think when we spoke to Sean, obviously he said he had a fair bit of ammunition, and not suggesting that not all horses at every yard are trying. But me and you said, Joe, the fact that Sean is so driven to win, obviously the Jockeys Championship, it's no surprise he's with Ollie Murphy because there's no plotting, there's no scheming. If a horse happens to be well handicapped, it's by mistake or poor form or whatever it may be. They're all off every day. And I think that Ollie Murphy could have a good season. He started extremely quickly when obviously setting up his yard initially. And he had the likes of Thomas Darby, didn't he, and Itchy Feet, who were kind of graded class. Hopefully he's got a few more like that, and he certainly has with stick to the plan. So I think, a bit more investment in his yard this year, which it seems to have happened. He'd be the one for me.
He seems to have like a real widespread number of decent horses where some yards that you see with his numbers have a couple of good ones and then a lot of dross, like, but you seem, like you said, Liam, doesn't it? You seem to get the best out of his horses when they go to the racetrack. Like, they're proper triers, aren't they? So
yeah, absolutely.
Jamie, how about you?
I think he'll have a good season this year, Harry Durham, because he lost his gallop last year. He's definitely a horse trainer that people are going to latch onto eventually, because especially with being in Paul Nicholls' yard. He kind of the one I came down on. Joe, you could say Green on Guerrero because they have Jaguar, and you could say Mr. Mega for the O'Neills and all that. Like, but I think, to be honest, with the numbers that he's getting, Harry Durham, and that he lost his gallop, he'll eventually get it right, and he'll have plenty of winners. So he's definitely an up and coming trainer. I think he's going to be judged big time the next year or two to see if he can grow the yard even further. But because of the fact that he lost and the amount of numbers he has at the moment, is that he lost his gallop last year. I think he's definitely a trainer to watch in the future, and it's Harry Durham.
Yeah, we've discussed this before about how he's been smart with where the likes of Harry Fry didn't reinvest when he left, sort of, and went solo. And as soon as Rock on Ruby, and you know what I mean, Harry went by the wayside. He had no ammunition, but I'm sure it's pretty common knowledge now that Harry Durham was the top spender at the Cheltenham Festival sales this year. And yeah, I agree, Jamie. He can definitely have banging a few winners. I did consider Harry Durham myself, but I'll go with James Owen. Just like I said, if you wanna find a trainer, you're gonna get plenty of winners out of this year. Just keep a close eye on James Owen horses because they're just improving at the rate of knots. Okay, the next section is going to be Cheltenham. We love Cheltenham, don't we? Who is the horse most likely to go back to back at the next festival? So a winner from last season's festival, who is going to back that up this year? For me, blatantly obvious for me this is, but we're going to go around the room first.
Does it start with fact and end in two file?
It might.
yeah.
Jamie.
Oh, it's back to file, yeah. That's a simple question. That was the easiest question of the whole lot.
Who put that in the running order?
Yeah, exactly. Do you want me to? There is another one, lads. There is another one. Same yard.
Bambino Fever.
Woodoo.
No, Woodoo's Elliot.
Same yard.
Oh, sorry.
Lossymouth. She is not.
Oh, yeah.
She's not going to that champion hurdle. Willie Mullins is a man of habit.
I'll tell you what, Joe. I would suggest that that's actually more of a certainty to go back to back than fact to file, actually.
Well, I've got Lossy, then fact to file. I've literally written then fact to file because I just don't think the opposition's there. I think Woodoo can get closer if she improves a little bit, but Lossy 2 mile 4 Cheltenham, it's like, God, like why would you take her out of it? You've got that wrapped up. Nothing's just come through that's better than her. So stay in your lane, win the race. That's what Willie Mullins would do. Who is the Cheltenham banker of the season? Lossymouth. We've sort of just discussed this, I suppose, in the same breath there, Judge. Yeah.
Back to file, Lossymouth.
Back to file. Cool. Who isn't going to win a Grade 1 this season? Season or Cheltenham? I didn't even get this one answered in the end, did we? But Did you guys come up with an answer for this?
I've got one for the season that I don't think will win a Grade One that would be potentially be expected to do so,
Okay.
and that's Grey Dawning for Dan Skelton.
Oh, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. That is.
I think he'll end up going to the Betfair chase, and if he wins, I'll have egg on my face because he was suggested as one that you shouldn't be backing
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a preview Ante-Post video I did. He bottomed him out last season. We saw what happened in the King George, and then it took him a while to get over it. Yeah, I think Grey Dawning potentially won't win a Grade One this year.
Jamie, it's not from Mr. Connell's yard, is it? This one.
No, he'll win a Grade One.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Go on then. Who have you got?
Oh, will he? I'm just thinking there, will he? No, it's a horse that we really liked a couple of seasons ago, Joe. It was the first horse that came into my head when it came to will he come back and will he win a Grade One? And I'm going to be it's like not controversial, but a horse that we liked before. It was Fast or So. I don't think.
Oh yeah, good shout. No, that's good. That is good. Yeah, I
I
like
don't
it.
think he'd win a Grade One. I think the injury could have been too bad. Now Brazil knows the time of day. Another underrated trainer, should have said him as well. Came into my head there, but no, I love that horse. But when you get an injury that late in your career, it's very hard to come back from. No, I'd love to see him win a Grade One again. Like he's mustered at punches down the back of the season that maybe he's day again, but I will struggle to see him win a Grade One this year, and I hope he does, but I think he won't.
Yeah, interesting. Fair enough. Well, for me, it's actually the Gold Cup winner. I know the way you're thinking. Never been actually a real big fan of his. He's only won 3 of his 10 chase starts to date. He's going to get beaten the Durkin. He's going to get beat at Christmas. We're not going to see the best of him until we get to Cheltenham. And I still don't think he's the best horse in that Gold Cup field. So for me, it could be a big back down to earth season for. I know the way you're thinking after winning so well at Cheltenham. Who is going to be the biggest flop this season, gents? I've got quite a strong opinion here. I'll chuck mine out there because it's quite controversial, I suppose, or against maybe most people's view, and that's from Lou Lambert for me. I am not a fan of Lou Lambert at all. I don't know what it is about this horse. I've never taken to him. I didn't like him in the Triumph. I didn't like him when he ended up getting justice next time out of Punchestown. He does not strike me as a horse that's going to go chasing. He does not strike me as a horse that is quite there just yet. I do not think this is a readied chaser. If they stay over hurdles, they're also going to have to highly try him and probably go down the champion hurdle route or save him for Aintree. And I don't like that. There's reservations for me about Lou Lambert this year, lads, and I haven't taken to him yet. So for me, he's going to be a big flop this season. Liam, let's go with you.
Yeah, it's a little bit samey. I'm going to revert back to Kopek de Boards. I think, given all the hype around him and basically he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders already. The expectations for him to go and absolutely bolt up in the Arkle. We haven't seen him jump a fence yet. Yeah, for me, he is potentially the flop of the season.
And Jamie Wren.
Oh.
Because like you could say Sergino, but it's unfair because we don't know his health and where he is. And
I think, to be honest, I'll go back to Paul Nichols again. I think he's really hyping up Kelif de Burle. I just don't see it.
Okay.
I really, really
he's
don't.
quite small, isn't he, as well? Not that's a bad thing, but he is very small.
Small. I just don't see it. I really don't. And like if an Irish horse comes over, it doesn't matter what level, like a Quick Silius or something like that for Tingle Creek. Now look, with John Bond staying at 2 miles, probably doubtful it's going to happen. But anyway. But yeah, I think he's just overhyped by Nichols, and I wouldn't have him. I wouldn't part with any of my money on him.
It sounds like Mullins is going to bring Ilite Tomp over for it as well.
Yeah.
He battered Grey Dawning and all that jazz,
It's so overhyped, it's not even funny.
Mullins is suggesting coming over for a fair few of these Grade Ones, isn't he, during the season? I think he's probably wants to do the 3-timer.
Yeah, I think
I agree, Jamie. I think he will. Yeah,
you can't rely on having the 1, 2, 3, 4 in a Grand National to tip him just over the edge. It's like so you do have to. And as he just continues to grow, I mean, why not? Like he's literally got the ammo to attack everything. He literally has.
One of the last season Ruby Wall said he was over every weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think he's going to attack everything this year.
Yeah, because there's loads of horses like I got bad through. you've got State Man, so he's going to bring Amsterdam over for the fight in fifth. You know, things like he's got loads of those. Ironsi, that's why he's probably staying over hurdles. He's got so many for fences already, etc., etc. Who isn't going to live up to the current hype? So I'm not going to say Lulamba again because I've said him, and it's probably quite easy to go down this route. But these Triumph horses, Narciso has. Um, I would not have him at the top of the pecking order myself. I know the numbers that he's shown have been pretty good, but these don't work out very often at all. The last that we've seen really work out is probably Vauban and Lossy Mouth, maybe. You know, I'm not a fan of these Triumph horses, which is why I stay away from the market. So easy one for me. Narciso has won't live up to the hype. Jamie?
To live up to the hype, I can't see. That's just my opinion now, and I know you've put them up, and I'm creaming you today, Joe. To be honest, Joe.
Right,
I
you're not being
can't,
very nice,
I
are
can't
you?
see Amsterdam living up to the current type. I really don't. He is supremely talented. You can see that, but no, he's paper legs, and I stay away from those horses now. I've learnt my lesson for years. He's very hard to train. From what you can see, look, if they get a clear run, hopefully we see his potential. But the current type, no, Amsterdam wouldn't be on my radar either.
Yeah, maybe I'll mature after this season. We'll see what
That's
happens.
me getting cancelled for next season.
Yeah. Liam.
Sorry, Jay. It's the new Lion.
I
Given
knew
the
it was
fact,
coming. I knew it was coming.
given the fact he's going down the champion hurdle route, the Bearing, Bingham, the Ballymore, the Neptune, whatever you want to call it, is not a trial for the champion hurdle. Most of these horses in recent years end up tripless. Everyone keeps pointing to Fahine. He's the only one in the last decade. You've had Ballyburn in Perret Passer, Gerhard, Bob Ollinger, all were tripless the following season, and most of which have then ended up winning over a further distance. Obviously, Bob Ollinger, the Stayers, Envoy Lens won over 3 miles on multiple occasions in the 2.5 in the Ryanair. Samcro ended up being a 3-miler. York Hill went further. He's not a champion hurdler. Yeah, not for me. Sorry, Jake.
There you go. Who is the best novice in training currently? I did message you both last night because then I was like, oh, hang on a minute. Are we talking about which bumper horse is going to be the best novice? Or are we talking about last year's crop of novice hurdlers or chasers? So go whichever way you want with this. But I'm assuming we're saying which is the best sort of like novice hurdler from last season, James. Is that the way you maybe looked at it?
I suppose you're going kind of more on the hype of people where people are talking as well. You can say novice hurdle, novice chaser. Like I put this with the hype as well. Like from what Dan Skelton's saying and what I've been told in this town and what have people I've texted about this horse, my daddy
Not
Buddy,
him.
that'd be a horse. Yeah. You have to follow him. It was the same. It was the same words that I was getting that time with Cinders and Ashes all those years ago. I know times have changed. William Mullins has come along compared to what it was. There was no William Mullins horse. There was, I think, a Lure of Illusion. I think it was the horse that came into my head that was in that Supreme for the Richies and finished nowhere. He wasn't as big as he was now, but you have to listen to what the Skeleton is saying, and I can't wait to see him. I've watched back that Hunting race, I'd say about 50 times. Yeah, there's a turn of foot there, but I suppose the turn of foot is on a flat greyhound track in Huntington, 10 minutes from my cousin's door in Warren, who you've met, Joe. So in Peterborough. So yeah, he's definitely a horse to follow. Novice chaser, I would go Salvatore Mundi. Yeah.
Good stuff. Because for me, same novice chaser, Salvatore Mundi. I think he's massively overlooked. Very easy to knock a horse because he didn't win it. Cheltenham. We saw what he could do at Aintree, and it's quite clear they're only just sort of scratching the surface with him. And the best. Well, I looked at it, the hurdlers who I think is the best novice hurdler coming from last season. And for me, I am going to stick my neck out here, Mr. Fanboy, and say William Money. I know what Barry thinks of him. I know what this horse could well be capable of. So I generally mean that William Money for me is the one that's going to come out the best from that Supreme. Liam.
I'm getting more and more tempted every single day to back the Yellow Clay for the Stayers hurdle.
Okay. Yeah.
I think potentially he might be the best horse to come. I looked at it the same way that, as you did, Joe, from the novice hurdlers from last season. And yeah, I think potentially Gordon always thought a lot of him, even as a bumper horse, didn't he? He spoke about him in like glowing terms. So yeah, I think the Yellow Clay could have a serious chance, providing Jasmine DeVoe goes over fences, which seems like a suicide mission to me. But yeah, I really like the yellow clay.
Yeah, lovely. I do too. I do too. You have that perfect campaign, like we've mentioned. Maiden hurdle, grade 3, grade 2, grade 1. It's just brilliant. And then run well at Cheltenham too. Okay.
Tell you now, that'll be some stairs hurdle if they all turn up.
It feels like a proper one. It feels like a big bucks
It's
Grand
been
Cru.
garbage for years as well, hasn't it? And
Yeah.
now it's setting up to be a cracker.
Yeah.
Tihupu Bobodinger. What you said there at the end of last day, Irish Point could come back. They're all 3 milers.
Ballyburn.
Jasmine DeBow, Ballyburn, and Yellow Clay. Wow.
Yeah.
Pick the winner out of that. East Indian Dock. Yeah, 100%.
Why not? Like, get it in there. Why not?
Chuck Lossymouth in it.
Chuck Lossymouth.
Oh, I'd love it. I'd back her all day to beat them.
Right.
3 miles. She's crying out for 3 miles.
This next one I found quite straightforward, lads. Of the top class mares, who is most likely to take on the boys? Liam, let's come to you.
I'm going to go a different route because I think I know what you're going to say, Joe. But given the vibes that Gordon gave to yourself, obviously when you had him on the podcast, potentially brighter days ahead. He's still not scared of taking on the boys with the allowance at all, is he? So if I don't think she is the most likely. You're going to give us the most likely, but I wouldn't be surprised if she were to do so. And it'd be good to see again competitive, like what they did with Annie Power that we just mentioned. So yeah, I think brighter days ahead potentially going over fences might take on the boys. Yeah,
Jamie.
There's loads in here, Joe. You could say about who brighter days ahead, Lassie Mouse, Only by Night, Dino Blue. They're the only ones who take on the boys. The rest of stays in Mayor's company. That's just me. They're the 5 that came into my head. Which one will? Doesn't? They all will. Do you know what I mean? Like Dino Blue will run an open company against Marisburg down in Cork in the Hilly Way in the start of December. Stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You know the kind of ones the horses that do. Do you know what I mean? The one I will say that I think will take on the boys, and I don't think she'll go in the mare's chase. It's the Big Westerner.
You got it. That's the one, Jamie. There you go. You got it.
She's an out-and-out stare. She should be in the Browns, and I hope she is. Like, what was the name of that horse that went? The Gordon was not afraid that year in that bad jail. It was a bad JLT. Shattered Love won it.
She was brilliant. Yeah,
I know I backed it, but getting the allowance, do you know, that's where the mare's chase needs to be scrapped. And it's just me. I know it's breeding, and I get rid of the mare's chase, bring back that race to the novices, and the mares will go in it over 2.5 miles. You know what I mean?
Henry 3 put the kettle in as well. Put the kettle on into the Arkle and the champion chase, and obviously beat Ante-Post as well. Yeah. I agree, Jamie.
And it was proven last year that fortune favours the brave because Golden Ace is going to run in the champion hurdle again. Why would she not go and defend her crown? Brilliant. And then I'll tell you what, like fair play. Will he run Lossymouth all you want in that mare's chase? That mare's hurdle. You are not going to win a champion hurdle unless you have a horse that you put into the race. And that's exactly what's happened with Jeremy Scott. And now look, he literally has a champion hurdle in his yard. I love it. So for me, it's Golden Ace, but that's quite obvious. And the Big Westerner. She's not a 2.5 miler. She will go to the Browns. Might know. Right. Okay. Who is the best British hope for a festival grade 1 at this year's Cheltenham Festival? This one's a difficult one, gents, isn't it? Because you can say, well, John Bond might be the best British horse. Does he really have a big chance in the champion chase?
Well, it's definitely the new line for Jamie, isn't it?
There we go, yeah. Even if he forgot that, he's probably just gone, oh, yeah, that's the one, actually.
I think, to be honest with you, I think it's only like the horses that McManus owns in the UK are the only chance of a UK grade 1 winner. Do you know what I mean? Like the Supreme, no. Barry, no. Albert Bartlett, maybe might get an English winner.
Jamie, didn't you just give us the winner from Dan Skelton's yard for the Supreme?
Yeah.
There's a slight bit of caution because he hasn't jumped a hurdle, isn't it? Is that what it is, Jane?
No, it's not a slight bit of caution.
Who's got a better chance of winning their race, My Daddy Paddy or the New Line? As we stand, though, we are obviously in October. It's a stupid question, but who?
Who do I think could win more than My Daddy Paddy or the New Line? I'll stick my guns here. I think the New Line.
There we go. I helped you out there.
And John Bond will come back and win the champion chase.
Don't. Oh, Liam, go on, Liam. He's in my bar books today. He's in my
get
bar.
Nico de Boinville off him, and he'll win the champion chase.
Oh, James Bowen on that note, by the way, should be on him because he's been riding.
No.
Well, On a separate note, he's
Mark
been
Watch. Put
brilliant.
Mark
Yeah,
Watch
Mark
on it.
Walsh. Okay, yeah, fair. I forgot about Mark. Fair.
But he'd be on Mesbro.
Yes, he will.
I think it'll be something that we haven't seen, Joe, to be honest, and it'll be in the novice hurdle division. Or Django Bago's King George Gold Cup.
There we go.
Look at Jamie's face. No, more than likely, I don't think we've seen the horse that is our best chance in terms of. I say our. I don't care. Do you back Irish horses? You back French horses? It makes no odds really.
Yeah.
But yeah, a horse that we haven't seen. I'm going to take Jamie's novice lad from Skelton's Yard.
Right, Daddy Paddy.
Okay. Yeah, lads, look, I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing. I don't know. I can't find who I think has a big chance at the festival right now. Even then, you look at I've even done the Grey Dawning. Not for me. And I really tried to pluck at something, and
you don't win the bumper very rarely. What was the last horse to win the bumper? The Twiston Davis horse, wasn't it?
Moon Racer.
Moon Racer. No, the one after. Show the one, the Twiston Davis horse, the red colours.
Not the new one. He didn't win it, did he?
No.
The bumper?
The English horse, last English horse to win the bumper.
No, it was about 1943, wasn't it?
No, he beat Black. Oh, Black Hercules. No.
How many years ago are you talking, Jamie?
About 10 years. He ran the Supreme. Your LeBake won it. LeBake won it from Mellon.
Yeah, I remember that.
The Henderson horse was third. Clare Clayman taken Torgan, is it? And he was fourth. He was favourite. Did he win the December Gold Cup afterwards? Oh, geez.
Oh, I can't think of it for the life of me.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
Ballyandy.
Ballyandy. Jesus Christ, yeah.
People were screaming at us for about 5 minutes.
Ballyandy.
I think he was last English winner, yeah?
Yes, you are right, mate. Yeah, it was.
Who is the best priced Ante-Post horse currently? Now, what are you doing here, lads? Are you trying to find a big price that looks at value, or are you saying, well, look, Lossiemouth just wins 2-1, take it? Where are we? Because I found this difficult, I will say, but I've got one.
I wasn't going down the route of just find a winner. I was going down the route of find a price. And we've spoken about this horse, Joe, and I think Lecky Watson.
Yes, Liam, that's like me. We're teaming up, mate. I love it.
25s, still knocking
it
around.
It start raining now.
What? Now he won on good ground last year.
That took you off your stride, that did, Liam.
Yeah.
Raining now.
No. Obviously, he's got decent form at the track. I think he could be a little bit like Lord Windermere and just really overlooked. And why on earth would he be overlooked? He's trained by Willie Mullins, for God's sake, and he won the novice trial for this particular race. So at 25 to 1, 33s, I think, on the machine at the moment. If you've got a few quid that you can get matched on the exchange. And people will point to this race not being a particularly good trial. However, it is a decent trial, perhaps not so much for the winners. I think you have to go back to Bobsworth and price that Lord Windermere himself, who actually won this and then went on to win the Gold Cup. But you've had Album Photo came down at last, dual Gold Cup winner. Minella Indo got chinned by Champ, finished first and then second in it. Jerry Colon was nutted on the line and then placed in it. La Home Press won it and then placed in it. There's loads of form there from plenty of horses that obviously have come back and run decent races. I think it's the colours. I think it's a little bit of racing snobbery, and you need to look in places where others aren't to get decent prices. And I'm all over him, mate. At 25s, 33s, you know he can jump, and he stay. You know that he'll stay. So Lecky Watson for me.
I love that, mate, because that's exactly the same as me. Very easy to overlook horses that win the Browns or win the Browns not as favourite, but he's won his last few races. I know he got beat. Did he get beat at Punchestown? He did, didn't he?
Fell, I think, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of a long season, I really generally don't mind. Look, he's a huge price. I think a couple of months' time he'll be half that. He's going to be running these top races. Well, he hasn't got many coming through, has he, for the Gold Cup, to be honest, this year? I know he's got loads of horses, but you can I'm not just off topic. Keita Bourbon, he's the one for me that would be more of a national type. I'd rather give Lecky, he deserves it. He deserves his shot. I think he'll get his shot. That's it for me. And I can't see him being far off,
I agree. I'll be happy if he gets beat on his first couple of starts, to be honest, Joe, because he'll just get a bigger price, and,
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm more than happy to top up. What we might have to do though is move the stayers to the Friday and put the Gold Cup on the on the Thursday. At this rate, it's going to be about 5 runners in it, like it was last year.
Oh no, don't mate. But I'd rather have him than Grey Dawning and all of that jazz.
Oh,
He's an
absolutely,
amazing
yeah.
improver. Jamie, who's the best price right now?
Well, in the words of Liam Firkin last night when I tried to give him a cross country horse, absolutely no chance him. He wouldn't even be in the three. But anyway, we leave it alone at that. I got like it's like you said all the horses, My Daddy Petty, Yellow Clay, Savage for Money, but I think hopefully they might go double-handed in the Browns. To be honest with you, and I know they have final demand that crowd, but I can't see Game of Inches and his age and his profile, like they did with Factified, going 1 year over hurdles,
Such a good shout. Such a good
and
shout.
then Willie Mullins saying he's already doesn't respect his hurdles, so he's a big monster horse. So 33 to 1 for a Browns with him taking a chance,
That's a hell of a price.
massive in my opinion. And I don't think they'll waste. He's what, a 6-year-old, I think, anyway.
Yeah, he's getting on. Yeah,
Yeah, he's getting on. He's late in life, so maybe we might do a Factified. What's the point wasting your time around doing that? And he's plenty horse in if they ever Bartlett. So why make your hand stronger? But probably won't because they think Final Man will win it anyway. But just like the off chance, he might run and just go straight over fences. He's such a big horse. So Game of Inches 33 run for the Browns is my kind of
That is a great shout.
under the radar kind of show.
Yeah, I love that,
Jamie.
mate. I think you got it spot on. And when we say he's getting on, I didn't mean like he's an old man now, but he's ready for fences, like you said. And great shout, Jamie. I love that one. Okay. Who is the dark horse for the 2026 Cheltenham Festival? There's quite a few. I mean, Jamie, you've sort of mentioned one just now. Have you got something else?
It'll come to me. Go on, go around again.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I had something for that.
You can have a few as well if you want it.
Yeah,
Just
I
sort
had
of
something
mention a
for that.
few if you
Go
want,
on,
boys.
go on.
Liam, have you got anything?
We've already mentioned him, unfortunately, Joe. Jimmy Desoy at 40 to 1. I did do five basically to keep on your radar, some of which I would already bet from an Ante-Post perspective this season. It wasn't just the festival. And Jimmy Desoy was in that write-up. As you mentioned earlier, the way he hit the line in that Coral Cup, he was not stopping. And obviously he's got that form, finishing second, was it, behind Ballyburn in the
That's right.
in the Ballymore. So yeah, I'd definitely give him a chance, 100%. I just wonder, could Jasmine Devoe jump a fence? I'm not willing to take the chance, to be honest. But I can see Willie being quite stubborn and still trying to send him over the bigger obstacles, to be honest. But no, Jimmy Desoy at 40s, mate. If somebody wanted to throw speculative few quid, I won't put anybody off that, definitely.
What price he live?
40s last time I checked.
Oh,
I will
wow,
check for you again now. But yeah, 40 to 1 Jimmy Desoy for the Brown Advisory.
I didn't realise he was that big. That is massive, isn't it? Like, considering we pretty much know he's going down that route. Did I ever show you the clip of me talking to Willie about Jasmine Devoe when I went to the media day?
No.
I'll show you.
Or you probably did, but I've forgotten it.
I'll show you because I questioned whether as a more mature horse could he go over fences, and I said, well, in his point, he almost didn't get the hang of things, but he was making better shapes as the race went on, albeit still not jumping very well. And I said, is this something that could be improved with time? And Mullins basically said, no, you can't. So with point fencing, you've got like a bar sort of halfway up, and they said he can't even get his legs above the bar. So it'll be interesting to see if they give it a go anyway. But he does scream like a proper, like an English Drever, a big bucks, like a proper old brute of a staying hurdler, like. So yeah, it'll be interesting regardless, I found this one again a little bit difficult, so I'm going to give you I thought Aranci was interesting, staying over hurdles, but I've already put up Amsterdam, so I thought it was a little bit contradictory. I'm going to go with a horse called Lord de Board, who's going to run hopefully in the Supreme if he's good enough. He's been picked up by the Donnellys, come from France. In my Discord, I've done a long list of write-ups about many French horses, and this is the one for me that is gonna be the next come in. He only won by about half a length, but it was just the way that he did it and what he had to overcome to win. It was brilliant. I've got a sneaky suspicion this is going to be a very good horse. He's called Lord de Board. Right.
Sorry, Joe. I'll chuck another out there just quickly. I
Do it.
mentioned
Yeah,
him
yeah.
the other
I
day.
have three. Is there go on yet?
Yeah, go for
Oh,
it. Go for it.
uh,
Yeah.
Go on, Liam. Go on.
Country Mile, who absolutely bolted up at the December meeting at Cheltenham. He's already been out for a spin at Worcester or somewhere exotic like that. Uttoxeter, was it? Sorry, yes, Uttoxeter. He will get his required runs for the Grand Annual. I'm adamant of it. His jumping wasn't absolutely fabulous that day, but look, it's his first run over fences. That will improve, no doubt. And obviously, unexpected party been lined up for it the last 2 years for the scouting yard. He's what 10, 11, something like
He's
that.
old. Yeah.
I think that this horse will be plotted out for the Grand Annual, and he's got some engine. He beat I mentioned this the other day, and I still can't remember the horse's name, but
Is it
one
Wingman?
Wingman it was, yes,
Yeah.
beat Wingman by about 7 to 10 lengths or something like that, and
Easy.
Wingman's now rated £1 higher than him.
Wow.
And
Okay. Yeah.
he crossed the line hard held. Skelton was like looking between his legs. He's a proper horse. I think this Country Mile, and keep him on your radar. He's 20-1 currently. You probably want to see him jump a bit better.
What are they going to do with Load of Sud?
I think me and Jay mentioned this. They'll probably chuck him in against Caliph de Burley, and whoever comes out on top is the graded horse, and the other one goes a different route or whatnot. Yeah, he travelled really well, didn't he? In the Arkle.
Yeah,
he just didn't quite find up the hill.
They might. There's been a couple of horses. He's Load of Sud and Grey Dawn, and I think if they could have last season back, they might do things slightly different. He won the Kingmaker as well, didn't he, Load of Sud? And he was like, he wasn't all out, but he was certainly off the bridle and being told to finish off that race, wasn't he? And I wonder how much that took out of him, and I wonder how much the Betfair Chase, just didn't help Grey Dawn, and as the season went on. So
I think the operation is so steadfast and headstrong in terms of trying to achieve their own objectives that sometimes not the best thing for the horse, but the horse could potentially go a different route and then would have performed better. But
yeah, for sure.
But yet the trainer's trying to achieve something, and I think that takes priority.
God, it's harder than Willy Bingo, I tell you. That is with scouting. That's more difficult because you got to think about that handicap as well. Like. Yeah. Jamie, who were the other few then? That's what you had on your radar.
One actually ran in the Cesarevich yesterday, and I hope he gets qualified for the Pertemps or Coral Cup. And there's two actually for the Coral Cup. One's obviously Hip Hop de Loire. You'll see him win handicap hurdles, definitely. He needs a break now, wait for him to the spring. He's running all the flat race, but look at the way he won a 2 mile 6 maiden at Galway. The other one is the one that was third behind Honesty Policy and Regent's Road at Entry. Funicular or whatever it's called. F and F. Funicular, whatever it's called. He's definitely one for a handicap this year. The two I like, Joe, and I've mentioned this has been mentioned in Mullins and Stable Tours. One is the one that won the bumper on the Saturday of Entry, owned by the Muneers, and it's called Green Splendor. He won a bumper at Leopardstown at Christmas. Now, he could be ground dependent because it's good ground that day. But the way he won an entry, now he might need a flat track too. But the way he won an entry, saying that he's coming for later, better career later.
Yeah.
And the other one is that the one that is related to Kopek de Board. They're going on about. Look. You listen to what Willie Mullins says. Most of the time, it is true, and that's just me. But he doesn't know what to do with the Goffs defender bumper winner, wonderful every day, the Brave Man's Game crowd. But the favourite that day was owned by the Gigginstown, and he's related to Kopek de Board and Leader de Board.
That's him, yeah.
And, Gigginstown and all them, they only train 3 mile. They only want 3 mile chasers. So this is definitely a huge dark horse as well under the radar for an Albert Bartlett. So he's definitely one to watch. Those two are definitely. But it looks like Green Splendor has a bit of a turn of foot. So
I thought that
Jasmine DeVoe-esque. So they're definitely two of Willie Mullins horses that are going under the radar. Willie's talking about him, but no one's talking about him after that. If you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah. Sure. You got so many horses, you sort of forget half of them as well, like, because there's so many at the moment. Okay, we move on to this season. There's only 3 questions here, and then we've got 5 questions for the greats. This season, who is the best handicapped horse for this season? I'll chuck mine out there first. And it's a horse called Indivar Bleu for Ollie Murphy. Yeah. He's off about 127. He's a 7-year-old. He's had a lot of problems, but he's extremely talented. We had Ollie on the channel the other day. He confirmed that too. That 127 is ridiculous. This is a 140 horse at his best. He's absolutely thrown him wherever he goes, and I'll have a big piece of him anyway, wherever he lines up. Whether it's his first start or second start of the season, keep an eye on Twitter, and I'll let you know which one I'm gonna back him. But Indivar Blue is a very, very well handicapped horse. Liam, you love these sort of horses that are thrown in. What have you got for us here?
Mine is a JP horse called Park That. He won the last day, went off at 11-10. Prior to that, just slung out the back of the telly, not asked him for any sort of effort, and off a mark of 114, he will rack up a sequence in Ireland. So yeah, Park That. I'm not sure what sort of odds you're going to get, but he's far better than his current rating for sure. The other one would be Country Mile, but obviously already mentioned him. I think
Sure.
they're both extremely well handicapped. But yeah, part of that for JP.
Indivar Blue, Park That, and Jamie, who do you like as a well handicapped horse?
I mentioned it there, the last one, Finnakai Funakula,
Yeah,
whatever.
okay.
Off 141 behind Honesty Policy Music Show. There's definitely a big handicap in that.
Perfect. Who is the best bet outside of the Cheltenham Festival? Anyone?
I'll give you two.
Django Bay.
I'll give you one. Shambali Kid at 66-1 for the Grand National.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
So he's got back form running in the Coral Cup behind horses rated in the 150s. He's now for mark of the high 130s. He obviously bolstered by 15 lengths when going widest of all at Punchestown. He covered so much more ground than everybody else, but it was the first time he was thrown up to that mammoth trip. He will need to still go up around about £7 in order to actually qualify to get into the national based on what was bottom weight last year. But yeah, Shambali Kid, he's definitely worth a few pennies at 66-1. Obviously, it's a long, long way away, but that form's worked out well as well. The horse that finished second at Punchestown, then bolted up by 12 lengths as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned this actually earlier in the week, and if I did, apologies for repeating myself. But yeah, Shambali Kid at 66 is for the national.
You certainly told me and Jamie about him anyway, but it's good now the viewers know too, and we might have a few quid in him before this goes out. Jamie, have you got on here?
Yeah, I really like a horse to follow that I put up in the other one for the UK horses. Sorry, it's trained by Nicky Henderson, and it's Jinko Blue for the Coral Gold Cup, the All Hennessy. He's 16-1. Same owners obviously as Django Bay. Yeah, I think he's tailor made for the race. I think he needs pace to be seen at his best. He's been running those. He fell at Ascot the last time. He hasn't been seen since. Horse won by the changing man at Ascot in that this is the Reynolds-Town, yeah. But a bit of soft ground, bit of quick pace in the Hennessy. I think he's marked 151. So I think he needs to, if he wants to go up to the big boys, he needs to be winning this. But yeah, he's a good price, I think, for the Coral Gold Cup, and I really fancy him at this present moment in time. Without seeing the field, the
Sure.
price is there for a reason. But he's definitely on my radar, 16-1 for the Coral Gold Cup.
He ran against a really smart horse at Windsor for Hobbs. Yes. Do you recall his name?
Lowry's Bar.
That's the one.
Yeah,
really progressive last season. Be interested to see what he does this year.
Good horses. Yeah, good horses. Nice shouts, gents. Well, I've got two because you can only back one of them now. That's Gaelic Warrior for the King George. I think he's absolutely tailor made for it. You'll hear a lot of Twitter tell you that he just needs soft ground, and that's just because they don't do any research themselves. He doesn't need soft ground. He needs soft ground when it's 2 miles because he hasn't got the pace for 2 miles. He showed you what he could do at Aintree. I think they're only just scratching the surface with this horse. Sure, King George winner for me in weight, and I don't see why they'd send Factor File, etc. For me, Gaelic Warrior is that perfect fit for the King George. My second one is just an interesting one because it's a horse called Sam Bruin. You can't even back him yet. He won the Red Run twice at Aintree. I think this time round he's going to step up and run in the Topham instead. So bookmark this couple of seconds, and hopefully in April he goes on and wins the Topham anyway. Who is the most exciting horse in training right now? I'll leave this one again open to the floor. And this can be personal as well. You know, we could have even had this one in the personal bracket. Because who's the most exciting one for you? Who are you really looking forward to seeing? It can be Django like Liam. It could be
All
who.
right then, yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, I've booked my tickets.
Hmm.
It's free cancellation should anything go wrong between now and then. I've been topping. I backed him at 40s before the Arkle. I've had a good few quid at 25 since. I think he's now top price 16s. I'll have a few more quid on. He's grossly underrated. I'm so excited. I hope that he gets to Kempston in one piece. And if he just gives me a run for me money and I can cheer him on, he's competitive towards the end, then great. And if he goes and wins, then phenomenal. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do. And yeah, I think he's got Gold Cup potential. I really do. But look, I'm not going to go on. Yeah,
Mate,
Django Bay. I'm so excited to see him.
you get it out there, mate. You get them opinions on the table, Liam, because then when they come off, then you can gloat and say, "Well, there you go. I told you."
Yeah, stop clock and all that.
Yeah, Jamie, who? Are you, yeah, we'll slightly change this. Who are you most excited to see this season?
I'll go kind of one that we kind of mentioned. It was in my head. To be honest, his horse we've mentioned a couple of times already. It's just like, as you say, he can't jump a top bar on the fence. I think this horse could end up dominating the stairs hurdle the way he won the Albert Bartlett and it's Jasmine Defoe. It's the way he won the bumper beating Romeo Coolio. There's an extra gear there. There's that little kick that a big bucks and a driver had, and you can see it's there. The way the big Westerner came to win the race, Derry Hassan Paddy, who I put up as a horse to follow for this in the Russell, the ultimate winner already. But it's just the way he has a kick. You come to him, he's a kick again, and that's a sign of a very good horse. And I'm really excited about him. And it's another kind of a thing where exactly what happened last year with him. It wouldn't bother me if he didn't win a race to Cheltenham.
Yeah. He is that sort, isn't he? To be fair, like they've got a plan, haven't they? It's not like they're like, right, we're going to go out and win at Christmas, and then we're going to win at the DRF. Blah 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 blah. That's that target. For me, again, outside of fanboy, the big Westerner. For me, I love this mare. She's going to go down the route of the Browns. She pushed Jasmine DeVoe to next to nothing in the Albert Bartlett. She didn't actually quite get a clear run herself, coming down the top of the hill initially. I think she's extremely talented. She's a half brother to Stay Away Faye, who won the Albert Bartlett, so the pedigree's there as well. She won us a bucket ton of money for the podcast at Christmas. I love her to bits. I think she's super. She's massive, big beast of a mare. Can't wait to see her go, lads. I really, really do like this mare. Right then, we are going to move on to the final section. Now, this is the greats. Who do we think are the greatest horses of all time? We're going to go for a 2 mile hurdler, 3 mile hurdler, 2 mile chaser, 3 mile chaser, and then the greatest horse of all time. We're going to start in the 2 mile hurdler division. I'm going to go first this time, and for me, it is Hurricane Fly. I just think he was incredible. The fact that he won 20 plus grade ones, we don't even get horses in the field these days that are even running that often, and he was just winning everywhere. The fact that he managed to do it at Cheltenham, I love the way he beat Arcona that year as well at Leopardstown. Was it Leopardstown, Jane, where he beat Arcona?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. I just think he was incredible. He was fast. He was a slick jumper. He travelled. Give him any ground, any track. He just ticked every single box. Hurricane Fly for me is the greatest 2 mile hurdler of all time. Jamie Rem.
Great case. He's definitely up there in the top five, but no.
Five.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Five.
Yeah. As I said to you earlier, any power destroy Hurricane Fly.
But again, greatness. We're talking about greatness.
And greats and the whole lot. No, there's only one of the
Longevity.
greatest of all time, and the greatest of all time before whatever is always going to be Istabar.
Fair shout.
Three champion hurdles in a row. Would have won 4 champion hurdles in a row if it wasn't for you messing around with your I won't say, but your foot and mouth disease over in the UK. You ruin racing like you do all the time. But anyway, I won't go into that controversy. Anyway, but
How dare
yeah,
you? How dare you?
but yeah. All jokes aside, it's by far he's the greatest. And like to put it Constitution Hill in the bracket of Hurricane Fly, any power,
Nonsense. Nonsense.
all them great. No, he's nowhere near Istabrack and Hurricane Fly, any powers of this world. No.
Yeah.
So not longevity and proven is me. Look, people say, "Why are you saying any power?" Well, any power running in 4 or 5 Cheltenham festivals. Constitution Hill hasn't. No, he has 4, but he hasn't lived up to the hype, in my opinion. Different trainer, I think, would get the better off of Constitution Hill. Years ago, I think it was 20, 30 years ago, Constitution Hill will probably have 3 champion hurdles the way Nick Anderson used to train. But he's, I suppose, longevity and age, but Nick Anderson, he's changed his methods, which is fair enough. He is a great Nick Anderson. He gets cribbed, but that's just the way he is. But no, by far, is the
Yeah, cool. Well, look, again, I can't argue that. Istabrack was probably the year that I started getting into racing. When did he win? Was it 2000, 1999?
98, 99, and 2000. And
Yeah, yeah.
as Liam said, it's not a trial for the champion hurdle, the Ballymore, and then it was called the Sun Alliance hurdle
Yeah,
that
yeah.
time.
Royal Sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, again,
Then went
just
on to win
before
a
my.
champion hurdle.
So we've got Hurricane Fly and Istabrack. Liam, who for you is the, again, not most talented, we're on about greatness here. Who's the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I think there's almost like correct answers to this, and they're almost these socially acceptable answers, but
Yeah,
almost like I haven't watched these horses run. So
yeah.
how on earth it just be an absolute like false
That's fine.
sort of
Yeah.
opinion? Do you know what I mean? So I can only really comment on what I've seen really, and yeah, Hurricane Flight as well for me, Joe. When I first started getting into racing, obviously he was absolutely dominant, racking up grade ones left, right, and centre. The answer probably is Istabrack, but how can you turn around and say it's Istabrack when you haven't even seen the horse run, kind of, or you weren't
Yeah, yeah.
into the game at that given point? So, yeah, Hurricane Flight for me.
I'd say we've come up with the right top 2 there. Either way, I think Istabrack and Hurricane Fly fill those spaces quite well without too much argument. Who is the greatest 3-mile hurdler of all time? Now, who is the. Go on, Jamie.
People absolutely throw things at the telly here, even though he won forward hurdles, but I don't care what anyone says. The greatest of all time is English Reaver.
English Dreamer, absolutely, boy.
I know he is, and why? Tell you why the slight preference is for him is that the fact of the matter he got injured and came back and won 2 more.
Could have won 4. He could have won 4.
He could have won 4 as well. Correct.
He was unbelievable.
He, to me, ran in champion hurdles, which he ran in champion hurdle, or did he run in champion hurdle? He won a fight in 5th, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he won a
think
fight in 5th. That's what he won. Yeah, yeah.
Big bucks could never do that. It's just when he won that first try 3 miles, and I never said my brother was actually very sick at the time, and I said to Dad, I said, "Who do you think who were inside the hospital? Who do you think won the stairs hurdle?" I said, "Paracuda's no good." I said, "There's only one horse stepped up at 3 miles, and it's English Reed. We was 10-1. We had a good bet in it, and he won easy. Got injured, came back. Paddy Brennan won, beat Mighty Man. I'll never forget that was great." And then he did change the tracks that time because of the wind, wasn't it? That
They
time
did, yeah, yeah,
into the old track.
yeah.
And he still won.
Can you remember?
Beat Casbah Bliss, and My Way to Solzen, and all those horses who were good horses in their own right.
Can you remember the 3 jockeys, James, that rode him?
Graham Lee, Paddy Brennan, and Dennis O'Regan.
Yeah.
Stato.
But he is the greatest in my opinion. Look, Beat Bucks is an all-time great. There's no doubt about that. Beat good horses in Valor de Vedette and Grand Cru, and that one that was what was that one of that horses that finished in the Gold Cup, purple colours. Can't think of it. He beat that as well. Beat Punchestown as the first year, but no, it's because he came back from injury and won 2 more. I loved him. I always thought. Now he did kill me that day when he lost the fundamentalist in the
Twisted horse. Yeah.
Behind Twiston Davis horses, who never fulfilled the potential I thought he would. Fundamentalist as a chaser, but he lost the shoe that day. And Graham Lee was sick. You could see he was physically sick coming off the horse. He was the banker of the meeting that year at Cheltenham, English Reaver. But no, he was brilliant. I loved him. He was brilliant.
Yeah, I love that, James, because it's funny. Me and James have spoke about this quite a lot. We share a lot of the favourites at the sort of top rankings, and I'm the same. English Reaver, you will never find a horse tougher than English Reaver. Yes, Big Bucks had grit, but for the people that didn't follow racing then, and you really liked Paisley Park coming off the bridle, you watch English Reaver, another bloody 50 yards back off the bridle, 2 furlongs before. He just finds and finds and finds. It was unbelievable. Those Graham Wiley silks. I get goosebumps talking about English
Oh,
Reaver.
the greatest
He,
owner of all time.
yeah, look, English Reaver was my marine back then, if you know what I mean. I'm obsessed. He looked incredible as well, English Reaver. He had a really awesome. He looked tough, did it on the track. Yeah, there we go. There's the English colours. Look, unbelievable racehorse. I would do anything to see a horse like him again. He was bloody brilliant.
I'd do anything to see Graham Wiley come back and buy horses, Joe.
Yeah, that would be incredible, wouldn't it? That would be incredible. Yeah, English Drever was just stupendous. Just got better as the races went on. He'd have beat the lot. Absolutely everything. I get a bit carried away, I know, but brilliant, brilliant 3 mile hurdler. Liam, who for you is the best 3 mile hurdler?
2 years after my first venture to the Cheltenham Festival, I went on the Thursday and I was skint. And Uxisandra won the
Oh
Ryanair,
yeah, yeah.
and then Cole Harden won the Stayers Hurdle.
The Grey Treks. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was on both. So Cole Harden is the
Hmm.
no, I'm joking. Obviously, there's sentimental attachment there, but no. Again, obviously, I big bucks. The time that I was coming into racing, Paul Nichols was absolutely dominant. He had Cato Denman, and Big Bucks went on a run of, was it 17, 18
Yeah,
consecutive
mental.
victories. Obviously 4 world hurdles. So yeah, obviously Jamie's already mentioned him, and I don't really need to elaborate anymore. But yeah, so for me, just in terms of what I've seen, it'd be Big Bucks.
Yeah, cool. Big Bucks and English Dreamer we got as the 1-2. I didn't really say much about English Dreamer. I noticed that. I just started waffling, go, oh, he was good, and you get too excited and carried away. Right. Who is the greatest, sorry, 2 mile chaser of all time? Jamie, I'll lead us with this one because again, I know we just love this horse. And it was the mighty, mighty Moscow Flyer.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry.
Oh, for
Can so John Bon and Duvan, who has had the better career? You know how he's spoken about Duvan.
yes. I
So
think I think John Bon had the career.
But
Duvan
Duvan was a
had
better horse.
Duvan had the talent.
oh, okay. So
I
you still side with Duvan being the better horse.
I would. I
He,
would.
Duvan, if he didn't fall that time with Patrick Money's hands, he'd have beaten Altior that day.
Yeah. I think Duvan. I honestly believe, hand on heart, I think Duvan would beat John Bon on the bridle. I really, really do. I think he'd have annihilated him. Yeah.
He'd have beaten Altior as well. Like.
Out when you look at some of the horses, like if you want to find a horse, we could have added this in, like a horse that never fulfilled their potential. For me, he is that horse. I think Duvan was very, very special.
Mm.
You can look at like Votor and horses like that. They managed to win these races, but I honestly believe Duvan was the best of the lot, and we just never got to see it. Basically, that's where I think.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Obviously, we're on the 2 mile chase division, so I just wondered where
Yeah,
you both stood on. Because obviously, he was so highly regarded by Willie, wasn't he?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I was just intrigued. That was all.
But what about? Well, sorry, yeah, I've even lost track where we were. Moscow for me though, anyway, because he is the number one. He did it in England. He did it in Ireland. And the greatest horse races of all time was Moscow Flyer versus Azertiop versus Wild Chief, and we had it time and time again. And when we had it time and time again, you didn't have one horse that would perform and the others would underperform. They would all hit their peak form every single time, and Moscow would always just have that little bit more. And I was a massive fan of Wild Chief. Again, probably potentially one of my favourites at that time. But whenever you put a horse up against Moscow Flyer under Barry Geraghty, when he is in form, I'm telling you now, he was just ridiculous. They don't build him like him anymore. That's for sure. Moscow Flyer for me was the greatest 2 mile chaser of all time. Jamie, you're just going to elaborate on that, I know.
Yeah, oh yeah, the greatest race of all time is the 2004 Tingle Creek. I don't think you'll ever see a better race in my entire life. It's brilliant. It was fantastic. He still, like when he was in his prime, he stood up P1, and that was the stat that was there. I know towards he run in race won by Newmill. He lost his noseband that day, but he was done. But when he's prime, when he stood up, he won. Rack beat him. I remember it punched us down that time on the snout, on the thing, on the line, and you knew it was the end then. Do you know what I mean? He beat Ratmar in first gear all the time, and you knew then he was done. They persisted for another year, which I thought was a joke, in my opinion. What am I telling Jessica Harrington what to do? He thought that was just a blip at the end of the season, his punch down, but it didn't matter. Moscow Flower went anywhere, entry punches down, doesn't matter. He was an iron horse. People in the crib now saying it's Sprinter Sacra. Look, Sprinter Sacra did beat a champion chaser in a horse that I really liked and who absolutely skint me in a champion hurdle 1 year in size in Europe. But got it back in an Arkle, got it back in a champion chase. Very good horse in his own right. Sprinter Sacra hammered him, came back, beat Underso and Special Tiara and all them in, as they say, the Impossible Dream. I don't think he'd have beaten Moscow Flare because they turned up week in, week out. Azerty at Moscow Flare and Well Chief. Well Chief had these injury problems too, by the way. And they were just brilliant. And it's just a pity Well Chief ran into Azerty up in Moscow Flare because he could have been a multiple champion chaser. But we wouldn't have seen it. It was a fantastic era. But Moscow Flare, I suppose, out of all of them, was good enough to win a champion hurdle. I think that year with the year Orla Waugh won the champion hurdle. If Moscow Flyer was in that, he'd have won that by half the track. It was the year after Footmouth. There was a David Pipe horse who I thought would have been one of the greatest horses of all time. He got injured down the hill called Valor Remix.
Oh yeah, Valor. My God, yeah.
He was a
Wow.
big grey horse. He was it looked like he was going to win it, and he fell too out and he got injured, fatally injured, unfortunately. But Orla Waugh, who won a Supreme, would have paid big money to Pipes to get him over to win the Supreme the year before. Sorry, 2 years previous because of the foot and mouth. But yeah, he would have won that champion hurdle. He was injured, I think, before, and then he went chasing. So he was good enough to win a champion hurdle in my book. So yeah, Moscow Flare was the great.
Love that. Love that. You put it much more eloquently than me. When we start talking about the good horses, I sort of just explode of excitement in the side and just start talking a load of gibberish. Liam, who is it for you then? I think I know who yours is going to be.
Go on.
Sprinter Sacra.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Again, it's just generational type sort of thing. And obviously, when I started really getting into racing, it's interesting as well because evidently you're kind of rating or basing their greatness on the opposition at the same time. So obviously, you and Jamie have alluded to the fact that it was probably a far more competitive division. At that time as opposed to when Sprinter was around. But it was a special day, obviously, after his heart issues and whatnot, when he came back and won that champion chase. Obviously, Underso was no slouch at all, was he? So yeah, Sprint Sacre for me, mate.
Yeah, look, it makes sense. Who can you chuck in that category? It's bloody difficult, isn't it, to put anyone that's going to match those and argue against them all day long. They were two incredibly talented two-mile chasers. Right, who is the greatest 3 mile chaser of all time? We're gonna swing back to you this time, Liam.
Yeah, and no surprise, given how we started the show, is pretty much how we're ending it. Galloping de Champs. I saw a bit of Corto. It was very much towards the latter end of his career. Obviously, I know he came back and regained it, but Galloping de Champs, when he was a novice chasing, he could have gone anywhere. He could have been a 2 miler. He could have gone 2.5 through. He was unbelievably talented. He was really keen, wasn't he? Initially, when he went over fences, and Townend had to really restrain him and settle him to get the trip. And yeah, I know that sticks will be thrown at him probably in the same way that they have been at Best Mate with regards to the quality of the fields and the Gold Cups that he's won. But it's not those horses' faults, is it? That they're not in an era like Corto and Denman when they were battling out these 3 mile chases against each other. So I'm besotted with that horse. He's magic. And some of the days at the races themselves, we were at the DRF. The atmosphere there that day when he won the Irish Gold Cup was absolutely sensational. The hairs on the back of my neck standing up now just thinking about it. So Galloping for me, mate.
Yeah, that was incredible. We're very fortunate to be there watching that all play out. Jamie Wren, best 3 mile chaser of all time.
I've had a long think about this one, and look, I always say best mate. In a way, 3 Gold Cups. Probably the best staying chaser I've seen anyway. There's the likes of Deadman who absolutely destroyed Star when he had heart problems too, and he absolutely destroyed Star. But you take and you think about it, he won Tingle Creeks, he won King George's. I hate him because I've been behind these back end for a long time, but I was never a huge fan of him. But he is what I've seen in my era and seen through best mate eras and the likes of. I go back, God, I remember Cool Ground and bloody Mr. Mulligan win Gold Cups and all these horses. Seymour Business.
Yeah.
I go back years. I've seen them all from the early '90s upwards. But Caught Star was a brilliant horse. You did like Clive Smith had great horses that time, like Masterminded.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he is. He is like he could win a variety of trips like Desert Orca. He could win Tingle Creeks. He could win 2.5 Old Roan chases. He could win Betfair chases. He could win Gold Cups. He could win. He won 5 King Georges for crying out loud. So he is the best. I hate to admit it. I never warmed him because he lost me a pile of money when I backed him that year in the champion chase when he fell at the third behind with Newmill, who won the champion chase there for John Joseph Murphy. Killed me, and I never forgive him for it. But yeah, he was a special horse.
Yeah, look, again, me and Jamie love Moscow Flyer. We both love English Dreamer, and we've always been huge, huge fans of Best Mate. We were fortunate enough to have Henrietta Knight on the channel with us last year, and we were like kids in a sweet shop or whatever you say. You know, we were really brilliant to talk to her. But I'm like you, Jamie. I have to be honest and say Corto Star was the greatest 3 mile chaser because he could do it all. And he won how many King Georges? Just 5. It's just like imagine if we said to you now, like, Gaelic Warrior's going to go on and win 5 King Georges. You'd be like, what? You'd be like, it's just, it's incredible. And we, 2 miles, 3 miles, regained.
Out of interest, boys, if Galloping was to regain, so he would be the only horse to have retained and regained, does that make a difference?
Yes, but I'd still have Cato as the number one. So I would have Cato Star number one. I would have Best Mate number two. And if Galopan came back and regained, I'd have him as number three. There's probably a fair case to say Galopan could be number two, though, because Best Mate didn't really manage to do it in Ireland. Whereas Galopan's won at Leopardstown, he's won at Punchestown, he's won at Cheltenham. So maybe he might, again, I might have to put my heart aside, he might creep into the number two spot. But ultimately, I think
But best make him over. He used to get beat by B4 Salmon.
B4 Salmon, but then B4 Salmon couldn't do it at
Couldn't do it at
Cheltenham.
Cheltenham.
So yeah, yeah, brilliant times though. So yeah, I'd say if you reget, and the thing is as well, Liam, out of all of these horses, I've always been like Jamie. I'm like, no, he's too old. You can't regain. You can't this that. I honestly have a suspicion in my mind as Summit telling me he is the one that could come back and regain that title. Okay, this leads us on then to who is the greatest national hunt horse of all time. And again, for me, it does, not unfortunately, that's the wrong word. I like to sometimes put my heart overhead, but you can't. You have to be honest. And Cato Star for me because he won Tingle Creeks over 2 miles, he won 5 King Georges over 3 miles, he won Gold Cups over 3 mile too. Find me a horse that was capable of doing that in the modern era. I don't think there is one. Jamie, is that going to be the same for you? Or
No, the greatest horse of all time, loves Biarca. He's the only
okay,
horse to ever get a race
well,
over 200. 202. He's by far the greatest horse. You'll never see a better horse than Arkle.
I've never seen
I
Arkle.
know we've never seen him. I understand that. But there'll never ever be a better horse than him. And that's to go. I've seen these races against all those horses. Can't think of the name. Some can't tell the top of, but there's no from the videos. There'll never be a better horse than Arkle.
Liam, greatest horse of all time.
It's really difficult, and I think it's my emotional attachment is where I come down on. And I'll get pelters for this because you should be saying Arkle, but I've never seen the horse race. I've never been there live. You've not got no emotive attachment. I've had one bet on Galloping the Shams in my life, and I backed Banbridge and had a significant amount on at Punchestown. Obviously, season just gone. When Banbridge was out the frame, I was screaming at Galloping Chumps to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
home.
yeah,
The emotive attachment, and that's why we love the sport at the end of the day. Yes, obviously we all want to make a few quid from it, but ultimately we love the sport, and the that sentiment and the excitement and the emotional attachment, I fell in love with this horse, as I said, very early on. And yeah, for me, in my very short period of being in racing, and that's all I can base it on, it's Galloping des Champs for
yeah.
me. He's probably not, but to me, he is.
Yeah, no, but that's fine. That is like you said, that's a very fair part of the argument. You can only go what you've seen. It just depends how you want to weigh it up. And even if he's not the greatest of all time, he is certainly in that conversation in that top 10. You wouldn't go, oh, should we have him or should we have
He
Kicking Two,
certainly
for
will be on
example?
March the
You wouldn't-
13th,
Well,
2026.
exactly. There's the thing as well. He's still racing, isn't he? There's still things to complete, and who knows? Imagine if he goes and wins at the DRF, Cheltenham, and Punchestown. It's like,
It is
cool.
very subjective, isn't it, mate? I
Hmm.
think, and yeah, and like as I say, you can only base it on your own opinion and yeah, your involvement in the game. But yeah, Galloping for me.
Well, quick fire then, lads. So Jamie, 2 mile hurdler of all time,
Easterback,
3 mile hurdler of all time,
English Retriever,
2 mile chaser of all time,
Moscow Flare,
3 mile chaser of all time,
Photo Star,
greatest horse of all time.
Arkle,
Liam, 2 mile hurdler of all time,
Hurricane Flight,
3 mile hurdler of all time,
Big Bucks,
2 mile chaser of all time,
Sprinter Sacra,
3 mile chaser of all time,
Galloping,
greatest horse of all time.
Galloping.
And for me,
whoa!
2 mile hurdler of all time, Hurricane Fly, 3 mile hurdler of all time, English Dreamer, 2 mile chaser of all time, Moscow Flyer, 3 mile chaser of all time, Corto Star, greatest national hunt horse of all time, Kato Star. Right, and that's a wrap. There we go. Something a bit different for us. How long did that go on for? We've done a good hour. Oh, I thought it might be a bit longer than that. Actually, oh no, wait, Jesus, no, we started at
2
20 past
hours.
11, didn't we? God, a lot longer than that. Good fun, that, gents. How did you find that? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Loved it.
Yeah, very much so, mate. Yeah, did
Different
enjoy it.
for us. And also, everyone, I'm always interested in hearing opinions. If you want to give us your greatest 2 mile, 3 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, and greatest horse of all time, pop them in the comments below. You know, I like to come back and talk to you all. I'm always replying to the comments, and we really appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, we've got loads of stable tours, loads of content. We've got a season preview coming up in 2 weeks on Twitter. We are also going to do one for the YouTube channel as well. Probably going to start our Ante-Post compilation soon as well, where we get a whole host of individuals all in one video, dropping you a selection. We've got more stable tours, all sorts to come. Anything to add, gents, or is that a wrap?
Nothing from me,
Right.
mate.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, it's just something a little bit different. Drop your comments below, and we will be back real soon. Thanks for tuning in. Really do appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoyed Chepstow too.
Keep it coming, lads. Likes and subscribe. We're nearly at 4,000
Yeah,
subscribers.
yeah, that's true. We don't ask, we never have, but we are actually nearly at 4,000. In this last couple of months, our subscribers have shot up. So yeah, please do, please like, please subscribe. We do appreciate you all, and hopefully you have found some winners and some enjoyment through our content. See you all real soon.